Madam President, we have an issue in Louisiana. I wouldn't call it a problem that I would like to talk about. Perhaps some of our sister states can learn from our struggles in my state. And the issue is education. I can't think of a more important subject. That's the future of my state. I think it's true in many other states. I believe that Louisiana's future can be present better than its present or its past, but the key to determining whether that's going to be the case or not is education. And I'm talking specifically about elementary and secondary education, because that's what counts. It's not, in my state, it's not the price of oil. It's not what the unemployment rate is. It's not who the United States Senator is. It's not who the governor is. It's education, pre-K to 12. And it's frustrating, I know. Americans can do extraordinary things. We can unravel the human genome. We can take a diseased human heart and replace it with a brand new one and make that thing beat. We can send a person to the moon. But we struggle, we in America struggle, and we in Louisiana struggle to teach our children how to read and write and do basic math when we have 18 years to do it. I'm not blaming anyone, but we all share the frustration. And it's not just Louisiana, it's all across America, I understand that. But decades ago in Louisiana, we made a decision. In fact, it was during my first job in government. I was working as legal counsel to a brand new reform governor in Louisiana. And he decided, and Louisiana, the people of Louisiana agreed with him. We all agreed on two things. Number one, every child can learn. Now, it takes some a little bit longer. Kids mature at different times, but every child can learn. And the second thing that we agreed on was this: that which is measured gets done. That which is measured gets done. We decided to implement 30 years ago standards for our elementary and secondary schools. One of those standards was, and I think still is, that's the subject of my remarks today, I hope it still is, a graduation exam. We call it our Graduation Exit Examination 21, GEE. So if I say GEE or G, I'm talking about our graduation exam. We said we're going to get serious about kids. We can't have our children graduate if they can't read their diploma. And so we're going to test them. The test is not terribly rigorous. It's 4 subjects. It's English, it's math, it's science, and it's social studies. And we grade those exams, and you don't have to pass all 4. You've got to pass English and math, and then either social studies or science. So really 3 out of 4. The grades, there are 5 different grades: advanced, mastery, basic, approaching basic, and unsatisfactory. Let me tell you what that really means. A, B, C, D, and F, okay? You only have to make a D on your graduation examinations. I'm sorry, Madam President. You only have to make a D to pass. Not an A, not a B, not a C, a D. So you take 4 exams, you've got to make a D on English, a D on math, and at least a D on either social studies or science. And if you don't pass, we'll give you another chance. But you've got to pass to get a diploma. And now, our Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, we call it BESE, which governs elementary and secondary education in Louisiana, has decided to take us back to the Dark Ages. By a one-vote margin, supported, quite frankly, by my governor, who is lame duck. He'll be leaving soon. He makes 3 appointments to the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. And everybody in America is entitled to their opinion, but I think my governor and his team are wrong on this. They're going to send us back to the Dark Ages. Here's the new rule. You have to pass the graduate exit examination in the way I just described, unless you fail. And then you've got to go to your teacher, and he or she can give you an extra points project. Come on. Come on. Who are we kidding here? Now, why do some want to do this? It's not the kids that want to do this, it's the adults. Because not only do we grade our kids, we grade our schools. And if schools have kids that don't pass the G, the graduate exit examination, it counts against the grade of the school. So this is all coming from the adults. They're putting themselves first, and they're not putting the kids first. This is a massive step backward. This is an announcement to the rest of America that Louisiana has given up, that our kids are not smart enough, they're not good enough, even when we give them second or third chances, to be able to get a D on the graduate exit examination. And as a result, we have got to give them a special extra points project so they can get a diploma that's not really a diploma. The people behind this ought to hide their head in a bag. Our kids are better than that. Every one of my kids in Louisiana can learn. Sometimes they need a little bit longer, but it's not going to do them any good to give them a diploma that they can't read. And it's not going to do them any good to give them a diploma that the rest of America and frankly the world is going to look at and go, that's not really a high school diploma. Because we know you failed the exam. You just got an extra points project so the adults wouldn't look bad. I'm embarrassed by this. This isn't the only problem we have in elementary and secondary education. I'll give you one other statistic. 70% of our high schools are graded A or B. 40% of the schools below that are graded A or B. 70% of my high schools in Louisiana are not A or B schools, okay? I wish they were. Not when 40% of the lower grades are only A or B. Once again, the adults who don't want to be embarrassed are inflating those grades too. And now they've started on the graduate exit examination. But this is a bridge too far. All is not lost. BESE, which, as I said, passed this rule change by one vote. And by the way, our superintendent of education was against it. This rule change is going in front of the Louisiana legislature for an oversight hearing in the Senate Education Committee and the House Education Committee. And I hope that either the Senate or House, and hopefully both, will say no. No. Because this change represents what George Bush, President Bush, called the soft bigotry of low expectations. the soft bigotry of low expectations. It's got no place in this country, and it's got no place in my state. And I'm embarrassed that people who are part of the education establishment in Louisiana are telling the rest of the world, our kids are not good enough. They can't learn. So we're going to give them a diploma that's not really a diploma. Thank you for the time today, Madam President. I wanted my colleagues to know what's going on in Louisiana. We're going to turn this rule back, and we're going to put our kids first in Louisiana, not the adults. Madam President, I suggest the absence of a quorum.